Okay, welcome to the first episode of the social media strengths movement. Yes, I said movement. So, very first episode, we don't know where this is going to go. I don't even know what's coming out of my mouth, but I do actually know. I just haven't said it out loud yet. And I've got my first guest here. He's actually a coach of mine and recently has become a good friend of mine. So, there's a dichotomy there that we're going to unpack too. So, before I even start explaining why we're here and what the strengths movement is, I want to introduce Matt Hackett from We Coach. How are you, Matt?
I'm good, thanks, Danny. How are you, mate?
Good, good. I bet you're a bit apprehensive because I
I
haven't told
am.
you anything about this.
I am. I'm a little bit blind. I'm going in blind, but I have full faith and trust in you.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate you saying that. That's awesome. All right. So a little bit of why the social media strengths movement. Now, if I look at it from my perspective and my why, and by no means do I mean this is going to be the why of the movement, because the movement is about the why of the community and the group. So my why as a strengths coach is to help people become the best version of themselves by focusing on their strengths. Does that make sense,
Yeah.
Matt? Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's quite possible that by the time this episode goes to air, some people may have already heard this before because I've been posting a lot on social media, a lot around my 7-day challenge and how I focus on my strengths and I align that challenge to my strengths. Now, what I've also identified going through this, and if I look at the purpose of the social media strengths based movement, is it follows my life. So I've been a coach, well, I could say all my life, but let's say professionally for about the last 20 years. And it wasn't until just over 10 years ago I got introduced to the strengths movement and strengths based psychology. Now, there's some highs and lows of that, but what I've found is I've gone on a roller coaster ride. So, people will probably understand what it means when you talk about strengths and weaknesses. But in the strengths world, if we look at one individual strength, underneath that strength, there is pros and cons as well. So, I found that when I focus on my strengths, if I focus on the pros, it's great, but life gets in the way. And when life gets in the way, the downside, or what we like to call the outhouse. So when you're in your strength zone, you're coming from the penthouse, and when you're not doing so well, you're coming from the outhouse. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it
So in
does.
the outhouse, you've got fear, you've got self sabotage, you've got a fear of failure, you've got a fear of success, all these things that fester. So as soon as you take your eye off the ball from the penthouse, all of a sudden you start shifting towards the outhouse. So my business, my life, everything about me, it goes from focusing on the strengths from the penthouse and then down to the outhouse. And this has invigorated me and challenged me. And you know, Matt, I've been through some big highs and some big lows lately.
Yeah.
And what I realized recently is that I've been spending a lot of time focusing on my strengths from the outhouse. So I've sort of defined in the last few days the three levels of me, or the three levels of Danny Crouch. And I don't necessarily want to talk about myself in the third person, but let's say the ground floor is like Danny Crouch, the business coach. So that's my job. That's how I earn an income. And that's how I provide strengths to businesses. So I go into a business will pay for their employees to get coaching and strengths coaching and do our programs.
Hmm.
But my purpose when I got into strengths coaching, it was all about coaching individuals and helping them become the best version of themselves. So that's great if you work for a company that employs that sort of stuff and they pay for it. But what about the individual that can't actually afford to pay for these coaching programs? And I have been fighting tooth and nail, and I use the word fighting purposely, for 10 years trying to find a way. Now, some people might say, oh, you've just got an animosity against money and asking people for money. That's not it. Because I know people have money and you can go towards those people and you'll get them to pay. But what about the ones that can't afford it? So it's come to me over the last few days. What if we found a way where we could offer strengths coaching to individuals and in return they give us a bit of time? Okay. So it's not that it's free per se. They give us some time, we give us some time, we put it together and then we build it. Does that make sense?
It does. more definition around what they give as part of their time and so on. That's
Yeah, really
what I
good
need.
question. Really good question. So, um, I sort of, as I'm saying this, I know I'm saying it to myself. And now that I've got you, Matt, I've obviously got someone else to talk to. You like to think there's an audience out there, but hey, we haven't even posted this yet. So no one else is listening. It's basically just the two of us.
Yeah.
But when I've been doing all this social media posting, same story, but no one else listening. It's just purely me. So what I quickly realized is that I've been promoting all my programs from a business coaching level. And when I get focusing on the outhouse, I forget to actually practice what I'm preaching. So I designed in the latest program, I designed this 7-day challenge. And still, again, I wasn't literally doing the 7-day challenge, right? I've been doing it for 10 years. But if we go through the 7-day challenges, one of the challenges is about the learning process. So first you learn, then you practice, then you share. So I've been learning and practicing for 10 years, but when I'm in the penthouse, I'm sharing it. When I'm in the outhouse, I'm keeping it to myself, if
Yeah.
that
Okay.
makes sense.
Yeah.
So what I would like to do is share this with the world. So the idea is people come to me for coaching, they share their strengths with me, I share my strengths with them, and we align their strengths to their 7-day challenge. So I'll say it in 3 ways. There's the challenge, the 7-day challenge that you'll find on the Choose Your Chapter website. And when it becomes my challenge is when I align my strengths to my challenge. And then when you come along and you come on board and join the 7-day challenge, it becomes your 7-day challenge because we're aligning your strengths. Now, the beauty of this is when we do this coaching conversation where we align these strengths to your challenge, we're going to share this on social media. So other people are going to learn how you share your strengths with the 7-day challenge. Because we all know, we've all tried to lose weight, get faster, train at something. But habits, life, everything gets in the way. And we need a community around us. We need people to support us, like a personal trainer, like a football coach, someone who's going to hold us accountable. And it shouldn't just be one person at the front of the room saying, hey, did you do your challenge today? It's about a community of people that are sharing their own strengths and following this 7-day challenge. Yeah. So the community here is okay. So the question is, and this takes us to the second level of Danny Crouch. So the lower level is Danny Crouch, Choose Your Chapter, the business coach. So what I've decided is Choose Your Chapter is going to sponsor me to look after this movement. Okay. So it allows me some time to offer free coaching. Okay. I've allocated a certain number of hours a week, and I'm going to do that at the moment because we haven't had anyone do this yet, obviously, because we haven't launched it.
Yep.
I've been devoting that time to posting videos on my challenge. So I'm trying to build a following on my challenge so people can see what this means. So that's what I mean by when you hear this podcast, you may have already heard about this challenge. You may even be in the challenge. I don't know yet. And maybe you do, maybe you don't. So it's this sort of journey. Now, what does that look like? Okay, so is there a need to monetize this? Okay. And this is where, when I say social media strengths movement, it's around social media. So if I look at Danny Crouch, Choose Your Chapter, business coaching, it is funded by employers. It is funded by businesses. So how do we make a movement get businesses to pay so we can coach people free? Well, the main businesses are TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. The bigger the community, the more views, the more comments, the more shares of other people's challenges, the more likely we are to get funding from these big social media companies. So that's one aspect. How long that takes, I have no idea. I'm not a social media influencer. Is it true you can make money off social media? I don't know yet. Okay. But there are other opportunities here. Okay. And this also comes from Choose Your Chapter, and it also comes from the movement. So, of course, you're going to have people that understand this movement, and they're going to see the potential in this. And they're going to say, well, actually, can I pay for my coaching? I want to pay to do your program. Well, there's a couple of options here. You can pay Choose Your Chapter, and then Choose Your Chapter will pay coaches to coach free, or you can make a donation to the movement and then you accept the coaching free. Because This is not about a financial transaction where you pay money and then you receive coaching. This is about what you bring. So this 7-day challenge isn't about me. It's not about me coaching you. It's not about another coach coaching you. It's about you learning how to self-coach. So you learning how to focus on your own strengths, you learning how to align your strengths to your 7-day challenge. So you take ownership, you take accountability, and you've got a team around you that go, hey, we're in this too. What did you do today? Oh, wow, I did this today. And by that, you're starting to understand everyone else's strengths. You're understanding how they're applying them to their daily challenge. So if you're struggling to break through that, having a day off here, which, hey, we're human, that's okay. If you miss a day, cool. As long as you go back the next day or double up the next day, even, that's still cool. You know, life's going to get in the way. Today being Tuesday, it's the second day of the week. Yesterday was Monday. So I started the 7-day challenge all over again. And this experience is all about me doing the challenge as well. So I'm a coach who is going to show you how this is done by actually doing it, recording it, and showing it. But lo and behold, I get up in the morning, and for the first time since I've posted these 7-day challenge videos, it rained. Talk about trying to start a new week, and there's life going, here you go, have some rain. So there's another challenge, right? And today's day 2. So today I line focus. And that's why I've asked Matt to come along, because he's got great focus. I don't actually know his Clifton Strength Finder strengths, but I know he has great strengths. And that's why I brought him along. That's why I've used him as a coach. And I'd love his input on this concept, how it could be marketable, how we could brand it, all that sort of stuff. And I know I talk too much, so I'm going to give Matt an opportunity to maybe ask some questions or give some feedback.
No, this is good. I've been taking it in. I've been taking it in. First impressions are I like that it's different. I like that that this is not just mainstream. I need to understand more about what the challenges are, the daily challenge, how long it takes, how I access it, how I do it, how do I self-reflect afterwards, or how I do that. I love dream big, as you know, targeting TikTok and Facebook and so on. That's very Danny Crouch. I love that. But there's a few gaps that I'd like to fill in. Being a movement, we've got to get momentum. So with that, there's going to be just a series, I guess, of how-tos, or what is it, or something to get that buy-in, something to get that hook. I can't say I've got the hook yet, but I guess the first step for me would be, okay, I'm about to start the challenge. Describe what the next 7 days look like for me.
Sure. I guess that's a question. I wasn't sure if
That
you
was a
were
question. Yeah, absolutely.
pausing for,
Sorry,
for a
my brain
question.
is going 100 miles a minute, but my the other side of me saying, "Now, hang on a sec, let's step through this, because I want to walk the pathway." So yeah. So the first
Awesome.
question is, what do the 7 days look like?
Very good question. Very good question. So let me start by explaining the 3 levels of awareness. Okay. So we've got, and I think I've shared this with you before, Matt. We've got, you know what you know what you don't know, and you don't know what you don't know. Okay. So at that top level, we have skills, we have strengths, we understand them, and we want to make them better. The second level is we know what we don't know. Okay. Now that's called conscious incompetence. And for some reason, when people hear the word incompetence, they align it with not good enough or something like that. What that means is, at that level, say, for example, I know I don't know how to speak Russian. Okay. That is conscious incompetence. Does that make me incompetent? No. I just acknowledge that I don't know how to speak Russian. I can shift that from conscious incompetence to conscious competence, and I've got to go and learn Russian. And then the lowest level is unconscious incompetence. And this is where we know nothing about the world. Or we don't know what we don't know. I shouldn't say we know nothing about the world. It's what we don't know about the rest of the world, the rest of everything around us. How do we learn that? We ask other people. They share insights, they share feedback. That's how you bring these realms together. Okay. So that's the first thing people need to know. And there are people listening to this now, and there are people that have been listening to this for 10 years, if not the last week. So that's in their conscious competence. They've done day one of their challenge, right? They're aware of how this works. And it's great that you're here because you're asking these questions, because there are still people out there that don't know what they don't know. And this is why I knew you'd be brilliant at this, because I get to a level where, because I know what I know, I assume every other person knows what I know. And that's a common trait in life. And that's why it's really good to focus on a challenge where you're learning about these levels of awareness. Okay. And that brings us on to sort of the next sort of area, and that's focus. So today, Tuesday, it's about focusing on the strength of the day. So my strength of today is connectedness. So here I am connecting with Matt, and I'm trying to drill down on what this movement is. Okay. So I'm focusing on this movement. And I do that by connecting with someone who I know has strengths that can help me focus on a direction. Does that make sense?
Yep, it does.
Yep. So then I look at, okay, now I've got to learn how to use empowering language. And that's why I do these podcasts. That's why I've been doing these TikToks, all this social media. It's to learn how to articulate how I say things. Okay. And that's done around your purpose. Okay. Your why. So the movement is around a why, hopefully a bigger why than just my why. But we tie together purpose and your third strength. Now, my third strength happens to be ideation. And if anyone knows me, I come up with a million miles and miles of ideas. All right.
Absolutely.
And I need to tie them back down to my purpose, my why. And I do that through focusing on Tuesdays on my connectedness. So even though in the future, like tomorrow, I'll be focusing on my purpose and dealing with ideation, which is my third strength, they all start to tie together. So I'm going through each day and I'm focusing on a challenge which aligns to that strength. Then after that, funnily enough, when I started posting this, it was on a Thursday, which is day 4. And that is about, sorry, I've mixed this up. No, I haven't, because the day before was empowering language. So I was talking about empowering language, and then I blended into day 4. So that's about your why. That's about your purpose. So the first day I posted about this was your purpose. So I'm like, wow, how uncanny. Of course, I'm going to start with why. If you've heard of the reference of Simon Sinek, start with why. But then why Thursday? Why in the days of the week? Why would it be on the 4th day of the week? Why wouldn't I start on Monday, where my strength is maximizer, where I want to make everything better? Well, if you haven't heard already, my number 4 strength is called activator. And that's where I love to get things started. So just by chance, the first day I do my posting on this 7-day challenge, it happens to be on day 4 of the challenge, the 4th day of the week, but my strength, that is all about starting, and the challenge is all about my purpose. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. Where I'm a little loose around the edges. So
yeah,
can I? And this is where we try to work well together. You are big ideas. You are coming up with all of these things, whereas I am process focused. I'm operationally okay. Let's step through, and that's one of my strengths that I bring. So let's look at the end. Can we? After the 7 days, what are we trying to achieve for each person that's taking part in this momentum, in this challenge? What's the end?
Good question. If you understand the rhythm of connectedness, and I'm not just asking you, Matt, I'm asking the audience about strengths and whatnot. If you understand the true meaning of connectedness, it is everything happens for a reason. So you ask that question for an absolute reason. What are people trying to achieve out of this? Well, guess what? That's next. It's about developing empowering habits, right? So day 5 is empowering habits. And guess what my strength is on day 5? It's futuristic. So I align how I develop my habits for my future. Yeah. So all of these things in every day you're learning, it is about developing strengths for a better future, to align your focus, to understand the levels of awareness, to create a greater purpose. And you do that through using empowering language that will not only empower you, it will empower others.
Okay.
Now to round that off. So that's 5 days. Okay. I don't know if you've been aware, but I've been giving you each challenge of each day over 5 days.
Yeah.
Now, if you're coming to us with your Clifton Strength Finder strengths, most people will do their top 5. Okay. I've actually done all 34. I only focus on 7. My numbers are 3 and 7. You'll notice most of the stuff I talk about are around 3s and 7s. And people go, oh, yeah, seven's everyone's lucky number. Well, I was born on the 7th of the 7th. A lot of things in my life. I grew up in house number 17. The first house I bought was 27. 7 revolves around me. But there's 7 days of the week, so I focus on 7 strengths. Now, for most of you, if you come to us with your top 5, we'll focus on your top 5, and we might align it with your working week, say a Monday to Friday. And then you can either take the weekend off, or you can use the daily challenges on 6 and 7 to do that. So to share with you day 6 and 7, and I amalgamate them sort of together, and I'll explain why. So my 6 and 7 strengths are both influential strengths. And for most of the audience, you're probably thinking influencer, social media. That's not how it works. In the strengths world, there's 4 domains. There's executing, influencing, relationship building, and strategic thinking. So Matt, without you doing your Clifton strengths, I'm going to assume you're going to have quite a few top strengths in the strategic thinking strengths and possibly in the executing strengths. But until you choose to do that, that's neither here nor there. But my 6 and 7 are command and communication, 2 influential strengths. So day 6 is the learning process. Okay. So I mentioned this earlier. You learn, then you practice. Now, most people do that. They go to school, they learn something, they go home, they do their homework. Learn, practice, learn, practice. But most of us miss the most important step, the 3rd tier level. And notice again, 3 levels, blah, blah, blah. You learn, you practice, then you teach, or then you coach, or then you share. Okay. So to be able to take your learning to the next level, if you can pass on your knowledge and teach someone else, you're finding a way to articulate it to someone else in a way that they understand it. So Matt, as I'm asking you questions and you're asking me questions, I'm improving my learning process by being able to be aware of, okay, Matt may not have quite understood this. I need to find a better way to articulate it so he can learn. And by that, I then learn more. And then day 7 is coaching from a strengths perspective. Okay, so this is where 6 and 7 tie together. This is where the sharing part and coaching comes together. And this is what ties the whole week together, the whole challenge together, the whole movement together, is that ability to share with others. So if your intentions are to focus on your strengths, open up your levels of awareness, bring from unconscious incompetence to conscious competence, to focus on your strengths, to use empowering language for yourself and for others, to develop your purpose and develop those habits, and then be able to coach someone else around that, will take you to a whole new level. Now, I'm going to get ahead of yourself or myself or whichever one it's going to be, because I know there's a question coming up. Well, what next? Guess what? Just like life, the week starts all over again. Yeah. So you can start the program all over again. Start the challenge again. You can change the challenge in a certain way. You can change what you did last week. You can change your intentions. You can change your reflections. And guess what? When you're sharing, whether it's a comment or you actually get up on TikTok or whatever and you post something, you can change what you said last week. You can improve on it. You grow, you develop. And that's the whole concept behind these 7-day challenges. So I can guarantee you, Matt, the demeanor of me last Tuesday to this Tuesday, how much has it changed?
Well, mate, you're back to bouncing. I can see that you're back in the penthouse rather than the outhouse, and you're bubbling. You're bubbling. I can see the momentum, see the smile, and that's great to see that that's back. Can I ask just one more question?
You can ask as many as you like.
You've mentioned quite a few times now the Clifton. Your reference to these Clifton things.
Strengths finder. Yep.
Can you haven't explained yet what Clifton is, or is this a course that anybody that wants to do this challenge needs to do first, or how do they find their strengths? Tell me how that blends in, integrates in, and what they've got to do to start that process.
Sure. Really, really good question. So I guess we'll go 3 levels again, as we always do. So I've asked Matt here today to share his strengths. Now, they're not the Clifton strengths. They're not strengths that he's identified from an online assessment. They're just his natural strengths that he brings into his day-to-day business we coach. And that's why I employed him as a coach. That's why I've used his services. Then there's all these other strengths assessments. Now you have the option to pick and choose whichever you like. There is one I know of very well. It's called VIA strengths. They're character strengths. Now I've been chopping and changing in my mind whether the free coaching will be VIA strengths as well as Clifton strengths. But the thing is, I don't know as much about VIA strengths. So if you like, you can bring them along because the assessment is actually free. Both of them are like 30 minutes. You answer a whole lot of questions. And it's not like you've got to write long answers. It's like, do you think this or this? Do you prefer this or this? Do you prefer this or this? And both of these tools, and there's dozens, if not hundreds of them on the internet. You just pick and choose what you like. Whatever you look for, whatever you focus on, you'll find it, guaranteed. But out of all, and they call them psychometric assessments, it is literally a questionnaire and it dives into how you think and feel and act and all this sort of stuff. And there's dozens of them. You might have heard of them. There's DISC, there's Myers-Briggs, HR use them for interviewing people for jobs and speculations and all this sort of stuff. But the reason I choose the Clifton Strength Finder is because it has given me the most empowerment in my life. Now, there is a cost. It doesn't come to us. It's a company in the US. It costs about, I think, in Australia, because it varies with the US dollar, it's somewhere around 25, 30 bucks. But I guarantee you, it'll be the best thing you ever spend your money on. So all you got to do is bring those strengths, 30 minutes to do the assessment, answer the questions. They give you the results. And let me tell you, the resources they give you, you'll be there for days reading them. So if you can't see the value in spending 30 bucks for something that could shift your life, then maybe this idea isn't for you. Maybe it's, it could be later, but we're looking for people who are interested in empowering themselves now. And that doesn't mean you have to come and do a coaching session. It just means keep watching the videos, keep learning about my challenge. You can post comments on my challenges, ask questions, and I'll help them. Or join the challenge and try and do it by yourself. That's fine. It's your journey. You take your time. You might find that, after the first 2 weeks, you skip 3 days. I can help with that. Within a 15-minute notification, like a conversation, that's all it is. I'm not going to sit here and ask you to share with me your deepest, darkest secrets and what hurts you. It is literally, you give me your results, and I will share with you my strengths, and we will come up with a plan of how you align them to each challenge. And I'll preface this with, the majority of work will be done by you, not by me, because they're your strengths. I can tell you what a strength means by definition. I don't know what it means by you. So I'll give you some prompts. I'll give you some questions. You'll get some answers and you'll go, you know what? I like that. I don't know if I'll use that. So I'm going to shift that from there and I'm going to move it down there. And then all of a sudden, you've got a roadmap for the next week. Yep, you can stick to that roadmap for the next 3 weeks, or you can jingle around with it every week. You can change it every day. It's your challenge. You do with it what you will. But the driving force behind this is, I know if I'm going to be happy and succeed and empowered in life, I need to do my challenge for the rest of my life. And I need to continue to do that. And I know the way I am, and my maximizer is built in this way. As soon as I take 1 day off, I'm more likely going to take 2. And I've got to ask myself every day, am I willing to take that chance, or do I want to focus on what I want? And what I want is focusing on the strengths from the penthouse.
Okay.
It's a lot to take in, isn't it?
It is a lot to take in, and I'm processing through. So, okay.
And look, to respond to that, and that's where we go back to day one of the challenge. And these levels of conscious competence and conscious incompetence and unconscious incompetence. Okay. So at least, Matt, you've had the benefit of, you've been aware of what I'm doing. You may not know all of it, but you're aware. There's quite possibly going to be people listening to this podcast going, oh my God, what is this stuff? I know nothing about it. That's that lower level. So even now, just talking to you, Matt, you're shifting things from that conscious incompetence to conscious competence. Yeah. And this is part of the journey. So whoever you are listening to this, we are, what is it, the 3rd of March, 4th of March, 2025. You could be listening to this in 2030. It's still enough time for you to do this challenge. It's not going anywhere. It's on the internet. Remember, it's permanent. We can't get rid of it. So this 7-day challenge will be here forever. It's just a matter of whether you're looking for it. Are you focusing on it? Are you searching for it? Do you want empowerment? Do you want to live a better life? because, and I'll say this isn't the be all to end all. This is just the starting point. It is literally 5 minutes a day. That's all it is. And you can do that by watching my TikTok every morning. Depending on where you are in the world, I'm up at about 6 in the morning. I take Pippi for a walk. Now, I haven't shared this actually. I read somewhere or watched somewhere that if you want to start building a following on social media, you want to start posting once a day. I started doing that and I thought, you know what, that's not enough. I've got to do three levels. Let's do three.
Yeah.
So the first post I did was about 10 minutes. And I got a bit of feedback, got a few comments, and someone said, yeah, you know what, this is more of a YouTube clip, not a TikTok clip. People prefer 1 minute videos. I thought, okay, well, I'll just post a 1 minute one and then I'll put the 10-minute one over to YouTube. I thought, no, that's a bit unfair because I'm sure there's people on TikTok that'll watch a 10-minute video. Surely no, I could just ignore him. Well, you know what? I'll just make another video. I'll do a 1 minute video that's a teaser and then a 10-minute video, and I'll post it both, and then you choose what you want to watch. But of course, that wasn't enough. I had to do one more. So I've come up with, and here she is. This is Pippi.
Hello,
So
Pippi.
we start posting every day, and it's called Pippi Power. She is the world's first strengths coach puppy. All right. So on this walk I go every day, I take Pippi with me, and I just let my ideation float and flow, and I watch her, and I watch her behavior, and I watch how she interacts with other humans and how she is. And I see these strengths pop up. And then I post about it. And I post how Pippi shares strengths in the world with me, and then I share it with the rest of the world on social media. So there's 3 videos. If you like videos about dogs, I'm talking about Pippi. She does join the video now and then, but she's a bit shy. You can see she's down here all comfortable and huggy and all that sort of stuff. So if you're a dog lover, Pippi Power. If you want the full version, it's a 10-minute video. And then the idea is if you're doing the challenge, you watch the 10-minute video and you leave a comment below of how you're going to align your strength to your challenge that day. That's it. Well, you can do more if you want. You can post yourself. You can, comment again at the end of the day. That's up to you. But that, to me, that would be minimum. You don't actually have to watch my video. It will help build the community. But you could post your own 1-minute video of this is my 7-day challenge. This is my strength. This is what I'm doing. But please tag me so I can then comment and share my day with you. And that's the idea of the community. And I would like to say that in some of these dark times, social media has been the cause for me to shift down into the outhouse. And my focus of strengths has been on the outhouse. And a little tip there, when you're in the outhouse, that little voice inside your head will justify why you're doing it. So I love human behavior. I'm studying human behavior. So I need to watch these TikToks about mean people talking to other mean people. And I need to read their comments because they're toxic, because I'm trying to coach people how to focus on strengths, and I need to know the other end. Bullshit. No, I don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They still exist. I still scroll past them. I still find them. There's still times where I think, oh, there could be something positive here. But as soon as I identify that's not my purpose, that's not why I'm doing this, I'll flick past. And I think that's what's so beautiful about social media. And even this morning, and this is where I can watch social media and it jots me back to where it is. And I'm a sucker. My activates things really quickly. And I saw this video and this girl was saying, okay, there's this algorithm now on TikTok. If you're looking to spread the word, this is all you got to do. Most people like the video first, then they'll leave a comment. Apparently this algorithm, you flip it upside down, you just copy the link. So you don't have to send, this is her words, you don't have to send it, just copy it and pretend like you're going to send it. Then follow the person, then leave a comment. Only has to be a minimum of 3 words, and then like it. And I thought, oh, okay, I'll give it a go. So I did it in that order. I'm sort of processing. And then a couple of videos later, someone else doing the same thing, someone else doing the same thing. And I thought, bloody hell, this is a scam. And then I thought, no, hang on, this is the algorithm. They saw me do those 4 things. The algorithm's picked it up. So now they're giving me more videos of the exact same thing. And I thought, okay, what's the message here? It's still about sharing content. It's still about sharing good content, but I need to focus on the content that I am sharing and commenting on and liking. So I'm then more purposefully spending more time on the videos that I like. I'm spending more time purposely sending an empowering message. I'm not making a smart ass comment. I'm not trying to passively aggressively point someone out for saying something that could be perceived as being said the wrong way. So I'm today being focused, of course it is. I'm more tuned into the way I'm sharing posts and the way I'm commenting. And hopefully that'll be passed on to others that do stuff about me. But the learning process here for me is be careful that you're not just posting videos expecting to build a following. I need to give back to the community. I need to go in and share and comment and even follow other people. I've been under this belief for however long I've been TikTok is I don't really need to follow anything because it'll just come up if it's interesting, it'll be put in front of me. But I now know if I'm going to focus on positivity and empowerment, I need to start following it. And there's so much in those messages there, and hopefully people with this level of conscious competence will know where I'm coming from.
Yeah, and they need to find you as well, Danny. So in this posting where you post this video and all your other videos, you can have links to your website, you can have links to your YouTube channel. I wonder if you can come up with a creative hashtag. Are they still a thing, hashtags, for your community that you're trying to generate here? And yeah, bring that community together, but they need to find you first. So you're going to share all of that with them so they can go through and educate with the 10-minute video and everything else.
Absolutely. And you'll even find videos that are AI that I put together, and I'll explain why. And this is Matt's doing, audience. Have a listen to this. Matt was the inventor of the blue collar coach. He is the one that branded it. He's the one that came up with the idea to promote myself as a blue collar coach. Because I'm raw, I'm unpolished, and I'm authentic. So what I do every day is I post videos first thing in the morning of my raw, authentic self, of what I'm going through, how I'm challenging myself, what I'm doing. Now, I could do what I used to do way back when, and that's before I post the videos, jump on the computer and edit them and clean them up and spend hours and hours focusing on this stuff. But what I've actually done is I just put it into AI and it creates one polished version with a computerized voice. So if you're the type of person who's attracted to polished videos, I hope you get something out of that. I'm hoping the following will come from the authenticity, the blue collar, because it's not just that I coach in the blue collar industry, it's that I'm blue collar. So you'll notice here, I'm wearing a blue collar, but I'm also wearing blue board shorts. And that's how I'm almost defining myself from the blue collar coach, the business coach, and the life coach. So the life coach is the personal coach. You'll see me in singlets and t-shirts on social media. Places like LinkedIn, which is a business site, you'll see me in a blue collar shirt. So I'm here today talking about the movement, which is about life coaching, but it's being promoted and endorsed and sponsored by Choose Your Chapter, which is the blue collar arm. So that is why you get board shorts and the blue collar all at once.
And look,
and a couch and laid back.
all of your followers, Danny, they will go on the journey and they will learn there is only one blue collar coach. There is only one Danny Crouch. We put together the blue collar soapbox where you get on the soapbox and you have your chats and your message and look, credit to you. I mean, this is inspiring. This is something that I hope does catch on and that you get that wave of momentum to really start to spread your message and start to help people in the unique way that you do. That's really what I hope that comes out of this.
Cool.
I'm on board. I don't know how to start where I start, but I'm going to follow the links as soon as you post them, and I'll do my first 7-day challenge. Do I need to start on a Monday? Is that day one? Does it have to be Monday? No. So I could start my 7-day challenge tomorrow.
Okay, so let me ask you one question. Whose challenge is it?
It's my challenge.
So who sets the rules?
I set the rules.
So you start whenever you want.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. And I don't have to go to the Clifton principles or anything like that. I can just start with my own strengths and learn and continue to do the challenge week after week from there.
Yeah. And it's interesting you say this, Matt, and I mean this in the nicest possible way. You're already behind the 8 ball because this has all been done in the last week, and you'll be amazed at what has been created. There are web pages, there are videos, there are instructional information, there are links to everywhere. There are suggestions whether you want to do it without knowing what your strengths are. There's access to the VIA strengths, the free assessment. There's access to the paid one, which is the Clifton strengths. And you go at your own pace. You pick the day of the week you want to start on. You work out whether you want to do it just 5 days a week when you go to work or whether you want to extrapolate over the 7 days. It is purely your journey, your choice. Where do you find it? You'll find it on TikTok and YouTube and on the website chooseyourchapter.com. It is in big black and white. It says challenge. All the information, you can register. I'm not 100% sure if on the website you can register. I think you have to register through social media. Whether I change that or not is a different story, because we probably want you to find us on social media so you can leave a comment, like, and share, because you can't do that on the website.
Fair enough. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's a good point.
But yes, once again, adding on to what you're asking, all the information's in the description of every video. Let me tell you, ChatGPT is one of the best tools I've come across. I literally write a short paragraph of what I've spoken about today or whatever video I've created, put it into ChatGPT, write a SEO, well-written, inspiring, blah, 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 put the links in, blah, bang, it spits it out, copy and paste, done. It literally would have taken me about 6 hours to do one video. And I think, what day are we, Tuesday? Sunday, I spat out about 20 videos, ranging from 1 minute to 10 minutes. I might have even had a 17-minute video. So, yeah, I'm flying. So what next? I guess that's a good question. What next? Yeah, find us on TikTok or on LinkedIn, but not so much about the 7-day challenge. That's something we could talk about. Find us on socials, find us on the website. And you asked the question, how do you get involved? So where is this podcast going from here? And I wasn't sure how long this will go. I reckon 50 minutes should be our cutoff, so about 4 minutes. So as we do, we say, okay, how long should a podcast be? I don't know. We'll make it last however long it lasts every week. But are we going to do one a week? No. We're probably going to do 3. Now, where Matt and I connect, it's on a Tuesday. So I'm inviting him to continue doing this on a Tuesday morning. And we just talk to each other. We talk about each other's strengths. We share each other's strengths. And we can do this on a weekly basis if he wants. Thursday will be the second episode, I'm hoping. It will be our second guest, I should say, who wants to come on and share their strengths. This could be my futuristic, so the next episode could be next Thursday or the Thursday after. But I'm manifesting. I want it to happen this week. Someone out there, please bring it to fruition. And then because people work around this time, it'll probably be about 3 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon. I'm considering doing it on a Sunday morning too. So those not working can focus on their strengths in the morning. Hopefully not take you away from your families, but maybe you can get your families involved and listening in. So they're the 3 options from this podcast. If you haven't found us on socials, find us there or go to the website, chooseyourchapter.com.au. Chooseyourchapter.com.au. Matt, anything to add? Anything to finish up on?
Nothing to add for me, mate. I'm excited. I'm excited about the journey. Of course, I will definitely be here every Tuesday and sharing and joining in on the chat. Maybe we can shout out a few of the people that have done the challenge. Maybe we can shout out some things we've learned from them. I'm interested to see how quickly this spreads, and where, you know, when people do share, make sure they share where they are, where they're sharing from, Australia, US, UK, anywhere in the world. Let's see how far it goes. I think also a nomination might be, you know, if we can nominate somebody else to do the challenge or inspire others in our network to do the challenge. Shout outs, call outs, anything to get this growing, because it's a positive message. And in a world where it is
Sorry,
so...
just to interrupt, Matt. I do mean to interrupt. I just want to clarify something there. When you said, can we call someone out? What I heard was you get on social media and you say, hey, Matt, I think you need to do this. Or are you just saying tag someone to show them the content?
No, I'm just saying, just if you've been inspired by this, and there are others in your network that you would like to hear about their strengths, or you would like to help them discover their strengths, or it's a positive message that you're spreading, I think that'd be a great way to get it up and going. And I was just saying, in a world of negative social media posts, this could be a shining light for positivity and a positive environment, and spreading that we're celebrating your strengths, we're celebrating your uniqueness that you bring, and discover those, and invest in it, and and nurture it, let it grow. So yeah, Danny, I'm on board. I'm keen to start my day one, and yeah, get on the journey.
Awesome. Cool. All right, let's wrap it up there. That is the very first episode of the Social Media Strengths Movement. This is Matt Hackett. Thank you very much for your time from We Coach.
Thanks, Danny. Happy to be here.
Oh, and little plug, any coaches out there, if you're trying to get your business off the ground or you need some help with marketing and branding and building websites, Matt's your man. He's helped the Blue Collar Coach and Choose Your Chapter a long way. Cheers, mate.
Thanks, Danny.